I think it's a big time-saving thing, like you say, Kirsty. I think it'd be a massive thing for rolling across departments, really, if departments can come up with their own version of it, or a whole school thing.
It ticks the boxes of differentiation as well, because obviously you're given a different task to do, depending on what they've achieved in their written work. It's also, I'm going to try it with peer assessing too, so that they use these codes for each other. Haven't done that yet, so that's something I'm going to trial. And yeah, I think that's about it, really. Yeah, is yours ready?
So if I give you a bit of an intro into what I did, so like in science we've been doing shiny lessons and using learning objectives to differentiate the outcomes for the students. So we're very much following like the purple, green, blue, so every lesson they have 3 objectives. My target that I've made for our coaching trio was to try and make the targets more quantifiable, because that was one thing that when Darren Ball came and watched it, one thing that kind of came up as being something that you could much more easily measure progress that way. So I've been trying to get sort of numbers and things into there to say, right, can they do these 3 things? Can they tell me 3 factors that affect braking distance of a car, to try and make it quantifiable so that you can measure it. So I've been working on that in science as well as everyone else in the department. I'm doing shiny lessons for those. I've picked my second set specifically because I think that's a group that hopefully it's working quite well with and improving with as well. I gave 6 of my students a student voice questionnaire that I designed. It only had about 4 questions in it, but it was based around, do they understand which objective to pick in the lesson? Like, so your purple one would be, if it's a GCSE class, it'll be differentiated, and it'll have a differentiated task linked to it that's for sort of the C grade students. There'll be another one that's green that again has got a differentiated task or tasks linked to it for B grade, and the same for sort of AA star. So it works quite nicely so that the students can see where they are and what they can do to get to the next grade. I picked 6 students that was a mix of pupil premium, SEN and EAL students in the group, and I got them to do a student survey for me, and it basically said, do you understand? And they had to do from sort of 1 to 5, like how confident are they which objective to pick, and about 2/3, about 77%, 66% of them said yeah, they're confident on which objective to pick. They kind of graded 4 or 5 out of 5, so that's good. Oh yeah, one of them, that's it. One of them said, oh yeah, that's fine, I'm really confident on that. So they sort of said 5, very confident for which target to pick as their objective. I basically also did, so based on what your objective is, do you understand from that what you need to do to improve? And most of them actually gave some quite good kind of feedback to me already on that. So hopefully I'll be able to show some more improvement on that as well by the end of the year, because the plan was then to give them the same questionnaire again later on in the year. But most of them have actually answered it quite positively already, and I did it when I wasn't there and gave them to it in a registration, so I said to them, answer it honestly. But hopefully that helped to show some evidence that actually they think that the objective is helping them to achieve whatever task it is that they need to do and get to the next grade. From there I went and observed Kirsty's lesson as well, and we had a look at again, like the dirt time and how the students are acting on red pen time. And I kind of took from that as well that, yeah, I need to be spending more time in my lessons, letting them have a bit more red pen time, because sometimes you can end up not necessarily giving them quite enough time to act on the feedback that you've put in there. So I'm trying to develop that a bit more with them as well. And Kirsty just said she came and observed me with that group, and just said that it was really, really good differentiated tasks based on what they needed to be doing. It's just really showing more evidence of that and trying to carry it on over the year and have those really differentiated objectives as well, which I would show you. But so that's about where we are.
I think one of the main things that's been really important is that I think through such a short period of time we work together, because these guys have been really proactive about getting stuff done and producing, you may have seen it, producing displays and stuff for you guys to see, and producing kind of evidence of what they're doing. And actually, just from the time that we spent together, even though they're working on completely different things, we've all taken something from each other. I think the dirt codes are really good, if we can implement that, I think that would be great. and just seeing each other's teaching and picking up different things. Like you're going in to look at dirt time, but actually picking up other things from there. And so I think actually over a short period of time, everyone's learned quite a bit about different areas, even if it's not focused. So yeah.
Can I also know about radiation now?
Yeah.
Just that might take another minute, and we've got about 2 or 3 minutes. If I just say to you what happened about the learning objectives, because it links a little bit to what you're talking about and what you were doing, Alex. But if you remember at the curriculum meeting, everybody brought exemplars, and then at the middle leaders meeting on Monday, we put middle leaders in groups. So English, Maths and Science looked at all the learning objectives for that area, and other departments were grouped together. And they discussed any sort of misconceptions there had been at the meeting. Were there people who still were having difficulty with differentiating between, an activity and a learning activity? And they highlighted what they thought were the best practice, and we'll get them out to you, to all staff in the bulletin this week, along with 2 other links which I think are really useful. One of them, I'm sorry it doesn't stand out very well, it's up there on that board. It gives exemplars of the sorts of starters to learning objectives that will help you think about what learning is going on, and you use that as a sort of a starter. And then there's another link that's got loads and loads of questions that would lead you to think about your assessment for learning, linked to learning objectives. So I'm going to put those in the bulletin this week, and it just moves us on from where we were with the original discussion about quality learning objectives. Oh look, you've got it. Hey.
Sorry, just taking a second to open up the file. Very good.
So both of them have done like a student survey to start with, just to kind of set a baseline and to kind of get their opinion on things, which I think for you found less informative.
Yeah.
And as you thought, I think you were thinking you were going to get loads of data, as actually there's lots of little rich data rather than lots of data. So I think there is actually quite a bit we can take from it. So that was kind of starting point for both of them. Was Alex's.
So yeah, that was, just while notebook's loading up, that was a copy of my student survey that I did. I tried to keep it so that I could measure what the students were saying rather than making it more qualitative. So pretty much 2/3 of them, there were 6 students I picked from the group, 2/3 of them sort of answered 4 and then 1 answered 5 on that first one. So how confident do you feel about which objective to select and record in the lesson? Because we just get them to record 1. Is the learning objective you pick normally phrased clearly so that you understand how you will know that you've achieved it? Because I was really trying to be proactive in terms of how confident do they feel, yes, they're writing an objective, but do they understand what it means and what it's saying that they're going to be able to achieve? And actually, again, that was quite good. It was just a yes, no, or sometimes, and 5 out of 6 of them said yes, and 1 said sometimes, so show a bit of improvement on that. Hopefully next time, hopefully they'll all be on yes. Does the learning objective you pick enable you to quantify your understanding? So again, could they, if it was a lesson on braking distance, could they tell me by the end of the lesson 3 things that affect it and how? And again, I think more of them said sometimes, but I'll look at the result again of that in a minute. And all of them said they feel that the objectives allow them to judge whether they've made good progress in the lesson. I realised with that one, they're not necessarily going to know what good progress means, so I might look at the phrasing of that one. That was just saying what we were focusing on. That's kind of what I'd done, so we'd agreed on our targets. I'd given out my student voice questionnaire and got feedback on that and analysed that, and then I'd observed Kirsty and we'd gone over feedback on that and what we can do from there. Yeah, that was responses to my student voice survey, so you can kind of see a lot of it was fairly positive and things anyway. Obviously, hopefully those numbers will all go up to 100% the next time I give them to them, that they'll all be clear on how they're phrased and the fact that hopefully they're able to quantify their understanding and make them that little bit more quantitative so you can measure that they have achieved it. And that was an example of one that we used for a radioactivity lesson that Kirsty observed. So you can quite clearly see that all of their objectives are linked to grades. They're differentiated by that grade, and then the shiny lesson that I used was them working their way down. It is tasks, but they're tasks that are directly linked to achieving each of those objectives. Okay, so and obviously by the end of the lesson, the ones that I could quite clearly see were making the progress to get up to the AA star had gone through pretty much all of those and had got onto these higher level tasks which involved writing decay equations and things like that, which is like an AA star grade task. So yeah, on the whole, that's a bit of a summary really. That's some of my feedback. I've got ages on doing that. So yeah, that's about it really. Any questions?
Thanks, guys. Really good progress, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the fact that you two...
I think it's just been nice that we've just been able to get together and just see, because I've never gone and seen a French lesson before really, since probably in my teacher training if ever, so that was quite nice, and I think the sort of Kirsty felt the sort of same about just, having some time out
really good
of
just
areas.
to other classes and like what you do.
Yeah.
It's good to see kids elsewhere as well, so
Yeah.
you've taught before.
Yeah, because I teach some of those in your Year 9 group as well, so that was quite nice just to see how they interacted and got on and things in a French lesson as well.
They
So
were very proud of their work, weren't they? They wanted to show you what they could do.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that was quite nice.
yeah. Had some good discussions with some of them, so it was quite nice. So yeah. I
Excellent.
think it's been proactive and good, and we've gained stuff from it. So, and hopefully show some more progress over the rest of the year on it. So,
Thank you.
Good.
hopefully that gives people some ideas and stuff. Anyway.